I'm Emily Fortuna.
And I'm Timothy Jordan. We're joined by special guests Eve Ekman, Director of Training at the Greater Good Science Center at UC Berkeley, and collaborator William Russell, Creative Director of MONOM Berlin Center for Spatial Sound. Welcome, both of you. It's great to have you here.
Great to be here.
Yeah, thanks.
So tell me, you've created this really excellent art installation here at Google I/O. Why make it here?
Yeah, so I was really fortunate. William's artistic vision wanted to build upon a project that my dad and I had collaborated on about 3 years ago, and this was an atlas of emotion. The inspiration for this came from His Holiness the Dalai Lama, who is so passionate about all of us finding our way to a calm mind. He thought maybe we need a map to get there. So the idea was to take the best of what we know from emotion research and create a way for people to actually visualize emotion. And then here at I/O, we are giving people an opportunity to know what it's like to experience emotion. So it seems so simple to be aware of our emotions, and yet for most of us, we avoid, suppress, deny anything that doesn't feel good, which actually doesn't help us understand ourselves or understand others. So this is just one more portal and way for people to get into these ideas of emotion awareness, well-being, empathy, connection, and compassion.
That sounds really powerful. William, could you describe the work? What is it going to be like for those of us that can't be there?
Yeah, well, the piece has been created using a sound technology built by 4D Sound. So the experience is there's about 85 speakers spread out evenly throughout the room. And the idea is that it creates sounds more naturally, more the way that we perceive them in the real world, how we've evolved to perceive them, which allows us to kind of connect more deeply to people's awareness of sound and how this interacts with their body. But the idea in this piece is actually we have artist Amanda Gregory who will be singing and sort of theatrically performing and controlling elements of the sound in the space, as well as being triggered by the soundscape that is around her. So the idea is she's actually in real time trying to embody as much as possible the experience around her and respond to this in a way and just be fully open and aware to her emotional landscape at the time through this natural sounds, but also tones and frequencies that we've learned have, certain effects on the emotional awareness, essentially. There is an area of universal things that we're finding that do stimulate generally everyone in a similar way. But then there's a mysterious, other, more complex world that we're looking forward to explore further as well. So, yeah.
This idea of kind of paying attention to our emotions and understanding those triggering states, I think is really relevant to us and our audience in software development. We were talking a little bit earlier about this, and I think it's really interesting that software development of any sufficient complexity requires lots of people, and therefore the most interesting software problems are actually people problems. And a lot of that dynamic is governed by our emotions. How we react with each other, how we react with like this big thing that we're all trying to do together. And I think in that way, it's really important for us to study emotional intelligence. And that's, I think, why I'm really excited about this work being here.
Yeah, I completely agree. And, I've been a trained emotion scientist maybe since I was born, since my dad is the founder of this field, Paul Ekman, and really mapped the human face. So how do we recognize these universal language of what I'm showing you right now? Is a little anger versus I'm feeling really good. And when we can understand how to interpret these signals, we have a lot of capacity for clear communication. We are born with this skill, not only to read faces, but to ourselves kind of show what we're feeling. And then, as William was saying, at an embodied level, we resonate to the emotions of others. So even if you're trying your hardest, like actually this project for this team, we don't need emotions here. We just got to be efficient. Good luck. We are hardwired head to toe for emotion. We absolutely have no control over what triggers us emotionally. We have some capacity to recognize, okay, I'm feeling frustrated, annoyed, or anxious, and then respond more constructively. So the whole goal with emotional intelligence isn't to change from lots of emotions to no emotions. It's to understand and identify what is the message this emotion is telling you, and then respond in a way that's the most effective. And really and constructive, and really that's empathy. right? That is an ability to recognize what's happening to another and then identify what's the best response. This is a core value of humans, and without it, we wouldn't have survived as a species. So how do we harness that for creativity, productivity, and engagement?
So I think you've already gotten a little bit at this, but if there's one thing that you hope that attendees or viewers would take away from your work and the general trend of your future work, what would it be?
Yeah, I bet we both have a different response. I think I would be really excited for people to become deeply interested in their emotions, and not at a I'm going to fix this thinking way, but oh my gosh, my emotions exist in my body. When I feel angry, there's tightness in my jaw and constriction in my chest, and when I feel anxious, wow, there's some like shoulder. And just that level of awareness, what we call a meta-awareness or metacognitive awareness, means you have some space away from the experience and you might not be quite so reactive.
And William?
Yeah, and I mean, the part that I agree with all of that. But the idea is that, yeah, we want to create these experiences so that they can feel these things as deeply as possible and to really be able to learn them through their use of their whole body. Because the idea is not that there's good or bad emotions, they're equal to each other, they all have their role. And for me, this has been an incredible learning process. It's just beginning. I mean, this is experiment 1, so I'm learning a lot from Eve about what is the real science that we have and what is not, what is still to be explored. And I think this is going to be a constantly evolving process. I mean, it came from a discussion between the Dalai Lama and Paul Ekman originally, and it will continue to be a discussion because this is such a rich territory to explore.
Awesome. William, Eve, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it, and thank you for your work.
Yeah, and I just really want to thank whatever mastermind behind this conference wanted to do AI for good.
Yeah.
I mean, as a representative of the Greater Good Science Center, of course I believe in that, but I think it's so nice to infuse this experience with how technology can help us and really support us in being the humans we want to be. Thank you.
Well said.